Rev up your engines!
Well, you probably saw that Tesla Cybertruck burst in flames outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, killing one and killed the guy who was in it. It certainly looks like a terrorist attack. I mean, this just happened, so the news is kind of rolling in, but it certainly seems like it because the idea that it was in front of the Trump Hotel and they said there were explosives in it and cans of gasoline. Let's face the facts. It's the Tesla Cybertruck. He didn't have extra gallons of gasoline in case he ran out of fuel because it doesn't run on gasoline. It runs on electricity. Now, I mean, the Cybertrucks are still blowing up. Just the other day, one in Georgia blew up in the parking lot of the car dealership, so obviously that one just went up in flames by itself. But in this case, you can't blame Tesla on this one. It looks like some kind of terrorist attack, and of course, they're using electric trucks because they got those big lithium batteries, and once they start burning, they'll be burning for quite some time. The fact that he had gasoline in it would make it burn even faster, of course. And it was rented by Turo, same as a pickup truck that was rented in the New Orleans attack. People should be a little more leery about what they're doing. I personally would not rent from Turo because I tried and I got screwed over. The guy decided he didn't want to show up, right? So I'm like, oh, great. You leave me. He called me half an hour before he's supposed to be there. And I'd set it up a week at a time. Oh, I don't feel like coming, so I'm not renting it to you, right? But if you're the one renting it out, you better be careful who you're renting your vehicle out to. There's all kinds of liability out there. And I mean, if you like your vehicle, you may never see it again. Realize that. The Cybertruck is gone. It's burnt up. And the other one ran into stuff, and it's state's evidence now, so I mean, you probably never get it back. I would not advise getting involved with Turo myself, either on the renting end or the rentee end, renting them out to people. Too much liability there. Well, a guy came to me the other day and he said, man, I'm not going to buy this Chevy HD Pickup. And I said, why? He says, because it was $74,895. Now, when did pickup trucks get so expensive? This isn't some luxury thing. This is a pickup truck. It's an HD pickup truck. 75,000 smackers for a pickup truck. All I want to know is, who's buying these things? Well, their monthly payment goes on for like 5-6 years, and it's a rather large monthly payment. And then when you're done, you got a truck that's probably worth maybe 30 to 40% of what you paid for it in the first place. One of the worst investments you can make is a vehicle. They almost all depreciate like mad, unless you have some specialty thing or something that, say, that's the last ones they made and they were well made, but for whatever reason, gas mileage or whatever, the company's not making them anymore. Yeah, they can hold their value for a while if they weren't totally mass produced. Like, let's say it's the last model of a certain truck, but they sold like 500,000 of them. Well, they're never going to be worth money because they made too many of them. Depreciation on vehicles is gigantic. It's probably the worst investment you can possibly make. And spending 75 G's for a pickup truck, whoo! But that's what they're going for now. He said, the heck with it. He brought me over a vehicle to check out for him that was a 5-year-old pickup truck for $24,000, and that's what he ended up buying. He said, whew, 75 grand for a new one? I'll buy a used one. I checked it out. The used one was in good shape. So, hey, that's my advice to people out there. You're disgusted at those prices? Start looking around. There's always reasons for people to sell vehicles, and they all depreciate. Well, if you wonder about those cheap electric vehicles you can get on Alibaba, and I do too, a guy in Florida bought himself one. He bought a $2,000, it was a little bit less than $2,000, little electric truck called the Shang-Li Explorer. He's been driving that thing for 18 months and he really likes it. Now, the thing is, these are not street legal. He's got a bunch of acreage in Florida. He's been driving around and he likes the thing. He paid $1,974 for it on Alibaba. If you want to see him driving around, check out his YouTube channel, ebikeschool.com. And hey, it looks like a pretty cool little vehicle. You could make them street legal if you wanted to, I mean, but then they'd have to pass crash regulations and all that stuff, and it wouldn't be $2,000 anymore. He said it's been durable. He's been using it all over as a workhouse, and he really likes the thing. Maybe one day they'll start selling those things over here. Even if they put 100% tariff on it, what? It'd still only be less than $4,000 for a vehicle. Hey, that's not going to stop people from buying them, right? So, hey, you never always says, oh, it's cheap, horrible Chinese stuff. Hey, this guy's had a great experience with his. He had fun driving it around. He said it's held up quite well. For $1,900, hey, you can't beat that. Well, greed is certainly everywhere, and Volkswagen is no exception. Now, Dealers are marking up their Volkswagen ID.Buzz, the electric microbus, right? The modern version of the old microbus. They're marking it up so bad that one went for over $100,000. They marked it up $30,000. Still, 70 is an awful lot of money. Volkswagen doesn't seem to have hit the nail on the head with this one. The real range, they say, is 200 miles or less. Do you really want a vehicle that only a range of 200 miles? I mean, you can drive back and forth to work and stuff. It's probably okay. But that's not much. People originally got those microbuses. They could travel all around, put other junk in the back, go camping, whatever. 200 miles isn't much in America, as per usual. The dealers are like, let's cash in. We'll mark this one up to $100,000. Do they ever learn a lesson? I guess they don't. Greed will get you in the long run. People will remember, they wanted to hit me for all this. Well, I think I'll try somebody else's. Do people think that there isn't competition? Take a Sienna minivan, all right? They're all hybrids now. They get phenomenal gas mileage. They go a long way. Why would you want to get some electric little buzzy thing that can only go 200 miles or less when you could get a real vehicle that can go 600 miles or more if you're conservative driving? It doesn't make any sense. So their short-term greed, guess what? It's going to grab Volkswagen, and they're going to find out people don't like being ripped off. Years ago, Mary Barrett, CEO of General Motors, said, we're going to make billions. We're going to be a software company, blah, blah, blah. Then they find out Americans will not accept the fact that you charge them $50,000 for a car, and then you charge them a monthly fee to access certain things that are already in the car, but you can't access it unless you pay the extra money. That fell flat on its face, didn't it? And then later, what did they do? They fired 2,000 of their software dudes to save money. Yeah, so much you're making billions with software, you fired the guys because you found out Americans figure they're paying all that money for a car, they better get everything in it and not have to pay extra. Well, if these Volkswagen dealers all mark these things up like that, they're going to find out in a very short period of time that Americans will say, who would pay $100,000 for that rolling pile of crap? Well, I was reading an interesting article. It made me laugh. The 2024 Acura ZDX may be the best car Cadillac builds. That's the Acura electric vehicle. It's an SUV. You can say, decent looking vehicle. Understand one thing. Acura is owned by Honda. Honda and GM, of course, makes Cadillacs. They're going to share and build electric cars together. But now that's falling apart. They said, no, they're not going to be doing that now. Honda's going to start making their own. So for a very short period of time, Honda, I guess they decided, well, we don't need electric cars. Quick, let's sell a GM electric car as one of ours, see what happens. Well, they already said they're not going to do it anymore. So talk about stopgap. Sell something for a year and a half, and then, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Well, I'm not a fan of electric vehicles anyways. I don't believe the technology is here. There's no infrastructure. Lots of reasons not to buy them. They may have much better battery systems in the near future or the far future where they actually will go a long way. They can charge up faster, but that doesn't exist today. So I would say probably the dumbest thing you could possibly do would be buying one of these Acura ZDXs. It's just a rebadged Cadillac electric vehicles, and Cadillac is having a heck of a time selling them themselves. I guess they think, well, if we call it an Acura, maybe it'll fool people and they'll go and buy it. You're not fooling me. And hopefully after this video, there's a lot more people that you also won't fool. Well, you knew it was going to happen, and it has happened. A Waymo robotaxi in Los Angeles ran into a serve delivery robot. The little robot was going along, and then it kind of went backwards a little, and the Waymo self-driving taxi was taking the corner, and it hit it. Now they say that they both backed up and went their merry ways and kept operating, but only in La La Land this is going to happen, right? But imagine what would happen if you were involved in something like that. Either somebody got hit by the delivery robot or hit by a robotaxi. Good luck collecting insurance on that. What a headache that would probably be. Well, this taxi hit me and it ran away. I don't know who it was. Now, it was the street in West Hollywood. Isn't that fitting? They could have used it for a movie. The serve bot was going up the sidewalk. It kind of went back a little, and it was moving back to the ramp, but then the Waymo hit it. Now, there was no news on what the servo-bot was delivering and whether there were people in the Waymo taxi. Now, Waymo was asked whether the robotaxi saw the bot, and they said that the Waymo system observed that the delivery robot was an inanimate object. The Waymo still had a person in it. So, the Waymo driver applied hard braking before it hit the robot. It was only going 4 miles an hour when it hit it. At least that's what the Waymo people said. Now we got robots hitting robots. Well, at least they're not hitting people, at least so far. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.